The 3 root causes of disease. First root, inherent, genetic, weaknesses. Inherent weaknesses are cellular codes, cellular memories, that set the condition of tissue and how it responds to life. Your physical body is a genetic imprint of your family tree, and your cellular strengths and weaknesses come from your genetic history. This is true throughout your body. Cells were originally created by God, but the memory of how well a cell functions is what constitutes our genetics. As we mature, we either make our inherent weaknesses weaker or stronger depending upon our lifestyles. This is extremely important to understand because currently each generation is becoming weaker instead of stronger. Today, more than ever, people are consuming and injecting huge amounts of toxins into their bodies. We are now seeing cancer, a form of degeneration and chronic toxicity, in the early teens, chronic and degenerative issues in infants, and birth deformities as never before. When organs and glands are underactive from genetics, inflammation or toxicity, a host of imbalances and disease conditions can result. It is easy to understand the concept of genetics. Our physical bodies came from mom and dad, which means we will have many of their characteristics, physically, mentally and emotionally. There is also a little of grandmother and grandfather in us too, as their characteristics, encoded in their genes, have been passed down through our parents. Geneticists say that we carry in our bodies and psyches the legacy of 4 previous generations. However, in my practice I have seen genetic patterns that have clearly been passed along for many more than 4 generations. Every cell in your body is a genetic cell, each a blueprint of its parent's cell. Cells become strong or weak depending upon what genetics has dictated to them, as well as from the effects of one's lifestyle, that is, by what you eat, drink, breathe, what is absorbed through your skin, and by what you think and feel, emotions. Cells live and function from their memories of their experiences, just as we do. Certain experiences leave us weak and vulnerable, and the same is true of cells. Physical acids and toxins can weaken and injure cells. Genetic memories add to or subtract from the cell's overall state of health. The impact of all this together determines the strength or weakness of cells, organs and glands, and whether or not they will provide the necessary functions they were originally designed to perform. If you inherited a weakened thyroid, weak adrenal glands or liver, for example, the duties of these tissues will be compromised and their ability to produce hormones, digestive enzymes, steroids, or whatever, can be greatly diminished. This then affects your whole body and how it functions. Disease of one sort or another is the result. For another look at this issue, see about consciousness and disease later in this section. As a society, we must begin to repair our weaknesses and rebuild ourselves so that future generations can live. Remember, nature never procreates the weak. The weak are always consumed. This keeps nature healthy for all species, and the same can be said of each cell in your body. Let's look now at the 2 other primary causes of all disease, and the reasons that tissues fail in the first place: toxicity and overacidity, acidosis. Both create obstructions within your body. Second root, toxicity. Toxicity, which means poison, is a broad-range term that includes many things, from mucus accumulation from dairy foods, irritants and complex sugars, to chemical, toxic metal and mineral deposits. This toxicity, which is mostly acidic, and accumulates in the body, comes from foods, air, body hygiene products, household products, building materials, the list goes on and on. Today, most of the foods people eat and the liquids they drink are acidic, mucus-forming, energy-robbing and protein-toxic. The refined starches we eat act like glue in the tissues of our body, causing plaque to build up, as we discussed earlier. This toxicity, being acidic, can inflame and congest tissue to the point of causing tissue death. This toxicity and mucus is stored in all tissues, but noticed more in your sinuses, throat, thyroid, lungs, muscles, liver, kidneys and skin. This is why all these areas are affected when you have cold and flu-like symptoms. The body tries to purge itself of these toxins, or as many of them as it can, through natural processes called disease. Many diseases are nothing more than elimination efforts by the body to purge itself of toxins, and/or dying or dead cells. As previously stated, toxicity builds up intracellularly and interstitially, around cells, in the vascular system, in the organs and glands, in the bowels, and in the cavities of our body. Combine this toxicity with an over-acid diet and you get inflammation, ulceration, tumors and eventually cellular death, degeneration. These toxins and mucus create obstruction, blocking blood and lymph flow to and from cells. This greatly reduces a cell's ability to function and stay healthy. Colds, flu, lymphatic conditions, lung conditions, gastrointestinal problems, infections, to name a few of many conditions, are all symptoms of this accumulation of toxicity in the body. Your immune system and/or parasites will naturally act upon this toxicity. Yet this natural response by your immune system to this toxicity and, of course, to the parasites who feed upon this toxicity, is oftentimes mistakenly called an autoimmune disorder. Parasites and immune responses are always secondary to the cause, they are side effects of the symptom. Third root, overaccidity, acidosis. The body digests, absorbs, utilizes, reproduces, and eliminates in the presence of fluids. These fluids include digestive juices, blood, extra and intracellular fluids, lymphatic fluids and urine. To fully understand the effects that food and toxins have within your body, however, you first have to understand opposites. Creation exists because of the dynamic interplay of opposites, without which everything would be the same. The interplay between opposites creates movement, activity, shapes, sizes, colors, temperatures. As complicated as chemistry is, it rests upon two pillars or opposites, hot and cold, or yin and yang, the names for the two opposing dynamics within Chinese philosophy and medicine. Hot is called acid and cold is alkaline. Acids initiate change and alkalis balance. This is the basis of all matter. The elements which comprise matter are either acid or alkaline in nature. Acid-forming elements include nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur. Oxygen, calcium, magnesium, sodium and potassium are alkaline elements. Many of the alkaline elements are known as electrolytes because of their ability to carry and deliver electrical charges. To maintain health and vitality, all of your body's fluids should be alkaline, except for the stomach's gastric juices, hydrochloric acid and pepsin, which are acidic for initial protein breakdown. The acid or alkaline measurement in your body is classified in what is called pH factors. The pH means potential of hydrogen. The pH scale is 0 through 14, with 0 being the most acidic, 7 being neutral, and 14 the most alkaline. Since each number on the scale represents a logarithm, there is a 10-fold difference between each number. This can be very significant when you understand that the pH of the blood should be 7.4, or slightly alkaline. Coma and death can take place when the hydrogen atoms in the blood lower, by adding hydrogen atoms, the pH to 6.95. The opposite can also be true. Convulsions and spasms can occur when the pH becomes too alkaline, less hydrogen atoms, which is rare. It is important to note that most convulsions and spasms are caused by mineral utilization problems. All the food that humans eat can be divided into the above two categories, they are either acid-forming or alkaline-forming. This depends upon the ash left after their digestion, and upon the foods dominating inorganic minerals, which affect the pH of our body's fluids. Acid foods leave more phosphorus, iron and sulfur compounds, which push out alkaline minerals like calcium, magnesium, sodium and potassium. Acids crystallize, thus irritating and inflaming tissues. These crystals are deposited throughout the body causing inflammation, irritation and stimulation or agitation. Uric acid, for example, is a byproduct of meat metabolism and/or fungal growth in the body. Uric acid buildup causes gout and other inflammatory conditions throughout the body. There are many other acids formed during food digestion. These include sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, butyric acid, lactic acid, acetic acid and pyroracemic acid, to name a few. These acids, if not converted to salts by electrolytes, will cause damage to tissue. The more acidic your body becomes, the more damage you create within it. Men and women today eat mainly acid-forming foods, e.g., meats, grains, pasteurized dairy products, eggs and cooked tomatoes. As acidity is hot, these acids and compounds cause inflammation in tissues. Inflammation causes cellular weakness and an inability of the cell to transport nutrients across its membrane wall via cellular respiration, eventually leading to cellular death. As previously stated, the only acid chamber in Homo sapiens is the stomach, where protein digestion begins. Note, immediately after the stomach contents move into the small intestines, bile and sodium bicarbonate are secreted to alkalize this mixture now called chyme. The rest of digestion is alkaline. The accumulation of acids and toxic foreign proteins in tissues causes an immune response called inflammation. This inflammation is then diagnosed as an itis of some sort, e.g., gastritis, colitis, cystitis, nephritis, bursitis, and arthritis. These are not diseases, but inflammatory responses to acidosis. This is why the treatment of these conditions with more acid-forming drugs or steroids is ludicrous and will eventually lead to further degeneration of your tissues. It makes much better sense to alkalize and detoxify, that is, remove the acids and foreign proteins that are causing the problem in the first place. CNN recently reported that researchers at various universities have proven that the genetic pattern of cells, DNA and chromosomes can and is being altered by acidosis, which weakens a cell, causing many changes in its DNA and chromosome structure.